What's good, everyone? It's your boy Salos back again, and today I am here to talk to you guys about Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. These are games that have caught a lot of fire for some justifiable reasons, some a little petty, some a little nitpicky, but these have been some of the most controversial games since Pokemon Let's Go, in my opinion, because the whole Gen 4 confirmed meme, the whole Gen 4 this, Gen 4 when Sinnoh remakes Sinnoh, I get it. Sinnoh is a very special generation, and I myself am not a Sinnoh fan. I have not played a Gen 4 game outside of Heart Gold, Soul Silver, if you count that. That's up to you, I guess. But outside of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I have not played these games since the first time when I was a kid. Like, I've not played these games since Gen 4 ended. So I haven't been to Sinnoh in almost 20 years. So that's crazy to think about. It's been almost 20 years. Man, I'm an old man, y'all. But y'all already know that I'm old. But yeah, so I get where y'all coming from. Like, for me, my first generation wasn't Gen 4, it was Gen 2, which I gotta admit, I got blessed because I got the best remake out of all of them. Gen 1 remakes, well, y'all get a Gen 1 remake every year. Gen 1, Gen 3, Gen 4, I got all y'all beat. Heart Gold, Soul Silver, stay goated. Let's go. But, okay, enough of that. But for a lot of people, Gen 4, this was their first Pokemon game. This was their first experience, and that started what I would consider people's most important and favorite video game of all time. So I get it. This is a very special generation, and it meant so much to a lot of people that they nailed the hammer and that they got this perfect. There's a lot of pressure on Game Freak to deliver on Gen 4 remakes because it's not just another generation. For a lot of people, their biggest fans, their longest supporters, they started with this generation. It was either Gen 3 or Gen 4. Those are like the two biggest generations where all the Pokemon fans today came from. You either start with Gen 3 or Gen 4, or if you're an old man like me, you start with Gen 2. And even if you're shout out to my Gen 1 homies. I know y'all exist. I know y'all are out there, but yeah. All that to say is that I get it. And I don't know. I have never been so conflicted when playing a Pokemon game because I still get it. It's still a Pokemon game to me, and I just love Pokemon. So I've never flat out hated a generation. The closest I've ever gotten to hating a generation is Gen 5. And I know I dick on Gen 5 a lot, but I honestly don't hate Gen 5 all that much. It's probably my least favorite generation. I still stand by that. I understand like my flaws, my logic, and over time I've got to kind of think about it a little more. But I cannot say that I enjoyed Gen 5 as much as every other generation. Just comparatively speaking, it was for me that was my lowest point in Pokemon. But again, I'm in the minority now. But anyway, that's besides the point. These remakes are just, I don't know, just hearing all the remasters of the music, hearing everything again for the first time, it's just felt magical. There's no other way to say it. Just magical. Like, the only other time I felt this way about a game, and going back into why I know people are gonna say, "Oh, Sailor's Gen 6 is right there," but this is the perfect segue why I don't want to dick on these remakes, because for a lot of people, Pokemon has gotten very big over the past few years. Okay, like Pokemon right now, Sword and Shield, as much hate as Sword and Shield got, it is now the second highest grossing game of all time. The only one that still has a beat out are the OG Gen 1 games, which are probably going to be king forever. So think about that. I get, like, even if you guys say like Sword and Shield are bad games or whatever, Pokemon fans are never satisfied. But these are they were the second grossing video game. And like, when you're talking about just the monster catching industry, they're kings. They're untouched. They're undefeatable. They're literally number one. So Pokemon is like at the peak that it's ever been, and there are a lot of eyes on Pokemon. I know a lot of people that started with Sword and Shield, And I'm not talking about kids. I'm talking about grown adults, like people in their 30s. They picked up Sword and Shield because they're like, oh, well, hold up. I want to see what this Pokemon series is about. I've heard about it all my life, but I've never actually given it a chance. So I feel like way down the line when we're real old men, Sword and Shield is going to be like this new... I really do feel like Sword and Shield is going to be the next Gen 4. But now I'm really getting ahead of myself. But where I'm going with this is that in 2006, if you guys remember my rant about my Mega Man Battle Network 6, this isn't something I've really talked about all that much, but 2006, 2007 era, it was a pretty lonely time for me because I was private schooled my entire life up until 5th grade, but if y'all know, private schools are not cheap. They're borderline college tuition, so the burden became too much for my parents. They couldn't afford to keep sending me and my sister to private schools. And my sister hated private school anyway, so they kind of used that as an excuse by saying that they wanted us to go to the same school. And they wanted to prioritize both of our happinesses, so we had to go to public schools. But I know the real reason was them prices were kicking my parents in the rear. And we would not have made it to 12th grade and like all the way to private school and then go to college on top of that. But yeah, so and the thing about private schools is that anyone can go to if you want to go to a private school, they're not going to stop you. It doesn't matter where you live. As long as you get there to school on time, they don't care where you live. So I had friends from all over Georgia that went to my school. I had some people that lived 20 minutes away. I had some people that lived right down the street. I have some people that lived on the other side of town. So these are people, like there are some people that after I graduate, I've never seen again in my life because we were just so distant. It's not like in elementary school, middle school, where everyone kind of lives in the same general area, so you could go find out where their house is, or y'all rode the bus together so you know where they live because you see where they get dropped off every day. That's not private schools, y'all. It's a real different experience. Just that the only time you see these people are in school, or if you go to after school activities. That's the only time you see these kids. So I had one friend who their parents were on the same wavelength as me, and they sent her to public schools as well. So we went to the same public school. But outside that one friend that I had no one. And there was everyone I knew up until that point. We lived in a neighborhood where we had just moved to a new neighborhood, so I didn't know any of the neighborhood kids. I didn't have any friends at school because I went to my own private school. I didn't know any kids in the area because I didn't go to the local elementary school. So my first day of school, I had my one friend and my sister. Those are the only people I ever knew. So, like I said, it was a pretty lonely time for me because I didn't really know who to talk to. I didn't know who to call, who to hang out with after school, who to sit with at lunch. I just kind of existed. So my parents, they would never do this, but they understood that completely. So they let me take my DS to school. They just said that just make sure you only play it before after school. So there's the only times you can play it. And at that same time, Diamond and Pearl had just come out. So I would sit in the beginning, I would sit in the auditorium, but waiting for homeroom to start. I'll play Pokemon Diamond. And I remember in my homeroom class, I was just grinding out, and I remember catching Pachirisu because back then I didn't use Luxray on my first Diamond team. I used Pachirisu. And I still remember this guy, Ishmael. He came up to me and he was like, "Oh, you're playing the new Pokemon game." So I've never seen you around before. What's your name? So he was like my first friend, and then we kind of bonded because he liked Pokemon too. So every homeroom, we would just talk about our adventures. I talk about how I just got to Maylene, how cool Lucario looked. I talked about Luxray, and yeah, Luxray's pretty cool. Maybe I should add him to my team. So eventually I had both Luxray and Pachirisu on my team. My Gen 4 team was so bad, y'all. It was so bad. But I don't know how I beat Cynthia. Somehow I did on my first try too, but just think about that team. That team was terrible. I had Empoleon, Luxray, Pachirisu. How did I beat Cynthia on my first try? I'm having a revelation, y'all. I don't know how I beat Cynthia. But anyway, now I'm really getting off topic. But all that to say is that these are like I said, I was rebuilding my line of friends. So these people that I met playing Pokemon, like Gen 4 is how I made my new group of friends. And these are friends that I still talk to this day. Like, these are like brothers to me, brothers from another mother. So like I said, I'm not a Gen 4 stan. I'm Gen 2 all day, every day. But Gen 4 has a special place in my heart too. It personally has helped me make lasting friendships that have lasted a lifetime. I've known these guys for, like I said, almost 20 years now. So these some of my best friends I made because of this game. So I say all that to say is that I'm not a Gen 4 stan, but Sinnoh has a very special place in my heart. So I get why some people are so passionate about that. But also, a lot of these people that I played Gen 4 with, like, we became friends, but after Gen 4, some of them kind of fell off Pokemon. Some of them like, we're going to high school, and like, well, Pokemon was like cool when we were kids. So we're still, like I said, we're still friends to this day. But now it's coming full circle. These same friends, these same people that I played Pokemon with, that they're like, yo, Salos, I just got the new Pokemon game, Diamond and Pearl. Hey, remember we were in Miss Moss's class and we used to play Pokemon together? Hey, come on, let's battle real quick. Let's have a battle. So these people that I've not played Pokemon with in almost 20 years, they're just so excited for these games. They're so happy to re-experience a game that meant so much to them as kids. So it's kind of like I'm reliving my childhood in a way, because I'm getting to play Pokemon with people I haven't played Pokemon with in so long, like from like back in the day. So it's kind of like with X and Y, but that's what I was really getting to, is that X and Y was special to me because it was the first time that I was able to experience when so many people loved Pokemon. At my college, X and Y was the most popular game on the campus by far. If you like, by the time it took me to walk from my dorm to my first class, I would have like at least 50 people on Street Pass just by walking like one block. So yeah, I get the backlash, but at the same time, because I'm not like my friends. I haven't, like, a lot of them, they play Gen 4, they haven't played Pokemon since the original Gen 4 games. But like I said, I haven't been to Sinnoh personally, but I've been with the series since Gen 4. I've played every mainline Pokemon game. So I get it from a passion standpoint, and I get it from the people that just grew up with Pokemon and kind of fell off. But I struggle to call these games good, but I also struggle to call them bad either, because when they hit, they really hit. Like, the soundtrack of this game is amazing. Like, I just get flooded with nostalgia because also, like I said, I'm not a Gen 4 stan. So a lot of the Gen 4 soundtracks I haven't listened to since Gen 4, because I think like the only Gen 4 music I've listened to actively to go out my way is the lake theme and the night Pokemon theme. Those are the only two themes in Gen 4 I went out my way to add to my personal playlist. But outside of that, I've not listened to any of these tracks since Gen 4. So it's just, that's why I said this game is magical to me, because it really is magical. It's like I'm seeing my childhood in a whole new way. But the inconsistencies, I feel really hold this game back. Like the chibis. Like, I still have not got used to chibis. I feel like the main problem with the chibis is that they don't commit, and that's what the overriding thing I feel like people are trying to say with the remakes, but they can't put it into words, is commitment. Like what's an example? Like, these games, if you guys don't know, from Maylene onward, every Pokemon gym leader is EV trained. They have the perfect natures. If you were to I guess mod your Switch so that you can catch trainers Pokemon, if you were to catch any Pokemon's ace, you would see that they're max EV trained, the perfect nature, perfect IVs. So it's like they're trying to make it difficult, but then they force affection on you where you dodge and crit every time. They're the chibis where the overworld or the in-battle sprites look beautiful. They look way better than Sword and Shield models ever were. But then you go to the chibis. You go to the battle sceneries where you have some of the most beautiful, breathtaking backgrounds in the entire series. And then you go to Empty Void. That's just the main inconsistency with these games. It can't commit to one idea all the way through. And I feel like it's just those little things that they can't decide on what the direction was, if they wanted to make it a hard game, if they wanted to go with the whole 2D top-down style. That's where I feel like the main criticism is coming from. And people are struggling to see that because a lot of people are spoiling the games. They're just watching people play it. So for me, first impressions on are just my first impressions of the game. And my first impressions are, I honestly don't know. I don't know what my impressions are of the game yet. I can't say I'm not enjoying it, but I can't say it's my favorite. I can't say that it's the definitive way to play Gen 4 yet. I have started that Pokemon Diamond Nuzlocke. I might have to go back there and finish that after playing Brilliant Diamond, but I still don't know which one is the definitive way to play Gen 4 because these games have so much potential. They're so lovable. They brought back following Pokemon, which, by the way, I personally don't have a problem with following Pokemon because maybe I haven't got to like the really big models, but my team right now is Monferno, Gengar, Magnezone, and Swinub, and Murkrow. So all the Pokemon that follow me, they seem relatively proportionate to my trainer. Like Gengar is huge. Well, it's not huge, but it's bigger than you expected. It's like Gengar is like bigger than an adult. So Gengar is slightly bigger than my person when he follows me. Monferno's a monkey, so it makes sense that he's about a kid's size. Murkrow is a tiny little bird, so it's tiny. So the models so far feel proportionate to me, but we're gonna see if I catch Dialga. See Chibi Dialga. That's gonna be funny. But I'm not trying to make this a long rant. This is almost 20 minutes long. I tend to always go on these rants, but I just want to give my honest, brutal opinions on Gen 4 so far. So I guess to wrap it up nice and concisely is that these games have made me feel a way about Pokemon I haven't felt in a very long time. And some of that may just be catered to I haven't played Gen 4 since the original release. I played pretty much every Pokemon game at least once, but for some reason, it's probably because my Gen 4 game got stolen. So I don't even have my original one, but I have all my other Pokemon games. So that might be a contributing factor too. That I have like with Gen 3, you can emulate Gen 3 games very easily. Gen 5, I still have my original copy of Black and White. I still have my X and Y. So I've played all the generations, but for some reason, I've never played Gen 4 again. So this is a very weird game for me that it's making me feel a way that I'm never going to be able to experience it ever again because I played every generation at least 3 times except Gen 4. So this is a very interesting experience for me. But that's like, again, my final thoughts are, I don't know. That's what I can say is that for anyone, I guess I could say for those on the fence, I just wanted to say that if you go in there with an open mind, I feel you're going to have a good time. At the end of the day, it's Pokemon. It feels like a Pokemon game. I know that we have like our gripes with it, but I know Pokemon fans are very hard to please, but just understand that ILCA was under a lot of pressure to make these games. They really wanted to deliver, and I just feel like they kind of cracked under pressure, if I'm being honest, because we don't know what we want. We say, Gen 5, it was too heavy on the story, which I'm not going to lie, I'm part of that crowd. And they're like, okay, we're going to tone down on the story in Gen 6 and focus more on gameplay. And we're going to make Megas, which became fan favorites, by the way. And they're like, the story was so bad. Oh, we don't like it. So Gen 7, like, all right, we're gonna retire the same thing every generation. Okay, we're gonna get rid of gems. We're gonna make Gen 7 the most story-focused game ever. We didn't really like the story in Gen 7. It was too story-heavy. The gems, the trials, they were so different. It's like, okay, no story in Gen 8. And they're like, okay, we're gonna make the story all about the gems. So I can tell Game Freak is kind of a little pissed off with the fans. And I just feel like this is a Game Freak just needs to be more confident in themselves as developers. Because working in retail, I can tell you, customers don't know what they want, okay? So you have to make the executive call to what you feel is best for your game. And because you're the developers, you have experience that these fans don't have. So you just need to be confident in your decision making and just make a plan and stick to it. So that's all I'm going to say. This video is 20 minutes long now. So thank you guys so much for listening. I'm going to make a full review on this game once I'm done with it, but I just wanted to get this out here. Just a nice little rant to get my thoughts on everything and how I feel about the games. But Man, it's been so good to talk to some of these guys again. I've not talked to some of these friends in 5-7 years, so it's just so great to reconnect with them over a game that we all love. And I think that they're back to on Pokemon now, which is just so amazing to me, that I'm able to share this experience again with some of my best friends. So it's just been very magical to me. That's all I can say, is that it's been magical. Anyway, Sailors, thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back again, with another Fire Emblem Heroes video with a full review of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and how I feel how these games stack up against the originals. But until then, I'm about to get about. Deuces.